You all know my conspiracy theory, or not my conspiracy theory, that's the wrong one. My worry about the Benrahma situation. I said I wasn't going to get worried if he didn't play against City. I wasn't going to get worried if he didn't play against Liverpool. Thought it would have been a very un-Moisey moist thing to do. I said if he didn't play against Fulham, then I would start to get worried. I also said an 88th minute substitute appearance doesn't count. I want to see a willingness from Moyes to get Benrahma involved. And I am pleased to report that he brought Benrahma on. When we weren't winning a game as well, when we were drawing the game, to try and win the game exactly when you should. When a game is at stalemate, you bring on an attacking player. Now, I think he slightly fluffed the substitution, Moyes, because he tried to do it on 58 minutes and he didn't manage to get it done until 70 minutes or something like that. So, it's just, I was laughing. It's almost as if the footballing gods had conspired against Moyes. There he was trying to make an early substitution. Oh, no, you don't. We're going to injure your centre-half and make things difficult for you. But even then, he took a long time to make the substitution. But anyway, Benrahma came on. I was pleased, despite him coming on after 70 minutes, the intent was there to bring him on after 58. If you watch his channel every day, you'll know that I'm relieved at that, because I do think if Moyes has got players on the bench, he's historically shown that he is willing to make the substitutions. 2 or 3 substitutions, 2 of which will be relatively early in the second half if a game is not going his way. He just needs to have confidence with the players on the bench. So the fact that he went for them showed that he had confidence in not just Benrahma but Lanzini as well. And I do think that was good for him to bring him on. So what do we see from Benrahma? We saw a willingness to take the ball into contact. We saw a willingness to demand the ball. I'm speaking about Benrahma, not Lanzini. We know everything about Lanzini. And by the way, I think it's fair. I as you know, I don't think Lanzini's finished. Far from it. I'm really pleased that we got rid of Anderson and not Lanzini. Right? That's my thoughts on Lanzini. Lanzini we spoke about another day. It's about Benrahma, and we're going to speak about Sebastian Haller in a minute as well. We saw that he plays with his head up, and we saw that he's confident. Not always easy to come up from a lower division and be confident. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the poise and how cool he was to supply the assist for Souček, who was also very cool in the way that he finished. But in many respects, I liked the drive into the box and the confidence that he tried to score from an acute angle, and then he tried again to score from an acute angle. And I like that because it showed confidence. It didn't work, but obviously sometimes players do score from those acute angles. But the context of him doing that, then the next time he was in an attacking position, him then squaring it, shows that he's learning on the job. And he's not so selfish that he's just going to, no, that's it, I'm going to score. It showed good teamwork, it showed good team play. David Moyes, if we just assume for a second that the truth again is somewhere in the middle, not only is it that this is a bit of David Moyes has okayed it, but it was Sullivan signing or something like that. David Moyes is going to have certain suspicions about any player. So his suspicion about Benrahma or somebody that dribbles a lot will be, are you a team player? Are you going to pass it? And are you going to track back? And I do think that in both instances, I think David Moyes probably got less to worry about. I also saw David Moyes handle the press conference in a very, very different way. A very familiar way with Benrahma. I want you to cast your mind back to when Jeremy Ngakia got into the team initially, and cast your mind back even further to when Declan Rice first came into the team, David Moyes' first stint. He damns them with faint praise, and I do mean faint praise. He keeps their feet on the ground, and he generally says something complimentary about somebody else when asked a question. He did it with Ngakia. Asked about Ngakia, he praised Ryan Fredericks. I can't remember, off the top of my head, I can't remember who he praised. But Declan Rice was playing at centre-half. Declan Rice made a mistake. It might have been against Newcastle. Might be wrong. But he was quite... His language was quite tough. Bit of tough love, let's say. Asked about Benrahma yesterday. He was a bit spiky. He said, well, hold on a second. He said, let's not forget. He said the fornicator... Wait, he didn't say the fornicator. Imagine if Moyes called Pablo Fornals the fornicator in a press conference. That's what I want to hear. That's definitely what I want to hear. Anyway, he said Fornals and Bowen were excellent as well. Let's not forget them. That was his answer when somebody mentioned Benrahma. Very Moyes-like thing to do. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Don't read too much into that. But he would have been suspicious that he would dribble too much. Well, I think you've got to dribble a bit. Don't forget, this is a manager who had Kevin Morales in his team. And he did loads and loads of that. But I think with the way he squared it and the way he had an awareness, he showed his team play. Now, I want to share something with you. Go and watch the replay. Go and watch the replay again. What happens is, the ball goes over. Balbuena crosses, sort of lobs the ball over. The centre-back is a bit confused by Sebastian Haller and does a crap clearance. It's a crap clearance from the header. Benrahma takes the first touch. He looks up, and I really like his body language. His body language doesn't give away what he's about to do. But then he squares it. He plays quite a simple pass to Thomas Souček. Souček, what else I got told off again yesterday? Side foots the ball into the net. Neat finish, cool finish, calm finish. At that point, Souček does this and runs over in the direction of Benrahma. So Benrahma's thinking, I'm going to get some love. Yeah, he's coming to give me some love and some respect because I set up his goal. There's the Souček, the Soumeister. He is the Soumeister General's appreciating the pass that I've just given him. And Souček runs straight past him, and he's like a spurned lover, right? Honestly, he's like a jilted bride at the altar. He did Kirk. And he went and did a solo celebration. And then I don't think in that moment of elation that Souček was even remotely aware who'd set him up. But I just thought it was funny. Anyway, I quite like that. That integrated him into the team. I mentioned on yesterday's video, whenever I uploaded it, for you it's yesterday's video, for me it's 5 minutes ago. I mentioned that I really liked the way Benrahma went and consoled Lookman. As one fellow professional to another, just being a good guy. And he looks like a good guy, and I think he's a good guy because when he got his law at Brentford, he really pressed for his loyalty payment. He's had a bumper payout, a big bonus at the end for moving, and it stalled the move for a little while. And he got his loyalty payment, and apparently gave a load of it to the Brentford staff, like the lowest paid staff, the furloughed people that had struggled and all the rest of it. Well, that's just a classy guy, and you can't have too. How many times you see me? I come in here and I praise Antonio's character and Bowen's character and Rice's character and it's just another example of that. You can't have too many good eggs in your team or workplace or whatever. It's a really, really good thing. With the penalty for Benrahma conceding the penalty, I got every sympathy in the world with him because again he's probably just trying to prove to David Moyes. David Moyes is probably thinking, this guy won't track back like the fornicator can. So Benrahma saying, look, Gov, I can defend as well. Well, he can't defend. As I say, a willingness to defend and an ability to tackle are two very, very different things, as anybody that ever saw Paul Scholes play will testify to. But I thought it showed a willingness, and I think those couple of things that David Moyes might have been worried about Benrahma, will he track back? Will he be a team player? Will he pass? Will he always dribble? Both answered. So well done. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of him, definitely. I think, and not just that, I think now we've seen that, Moyes will be more willing to bring him on. I think you have to say, he's actually managed the situation quite well, Moyes. We don't have to say it, I will say it. And I think the way he introduced Bowen, whilst we were frustrated at the start, he seems to have a way of doing it. You know what? Fine. Sebastian Haller, I was really surprised to read a lot of the comments about Sebastian Haller and about how people thought he'd done better. Now, I look at that very differently, by the way. And I'm a Sebastian Haller fan. I think he's a really good player. But actually, that performance was confirmation for me that it ain't going to work out for Sebastian Haller. Not because he's lazy. I don't have to justify myself and say the same words in every video that I said before. I just don't think that what we're doing is going to suit him. And if my point that I made either in the review or in the player ratings was, if we're not going to set the team up and get the team able to play against him, to play alongside him, so as we can supply him adequately when we're playing Liverpool, Man City, or whoever it was, Liverpool, wasn't it? If we're not going to do that, then fine. But if then we go and play one of the lowest teams in the league and we're still not going to play to a way that suits him, then I would suggest actually we're not going to play to a way that suits him at all. It was the final confirmation. We just look like so much more of a threat when there's somebody that does the Mikel Antonio job, or just Mikel Antonio, playing in that position. We're a hard-working team. We are a team of work rate, and that's not to call him lazy. But I mentioned in the review, Jarrod Bowen, he wasn't faster than Robinson. Well, Jarrod Bowen wasn't faster than Reguilon at Tottenham. He wasn't faster when we played Man United. He played against the left-back Williams. I thought it was a really, really good tussle and good competition. I actually thought Jarrod Bowen came out of that and got the better of him in the end. I thought Jarrod Bowen won that duel, and I really did enjoy it. But he didn't win that duel with pace. He won with cunning and guile and a really good football brain, which I do think Jarrod Bowen's got. But Jarrod Bowen is not blisteringly quick. Fornals is he's just running through treacle, isn't he? Let's be fair. Most of the time, you can't have your three front players and no one really pacey amongst them. And I know some people will say, well, hold on, Bowen is pacey. I'll tell you this now. Bowen is probably quicker than half of the fullbacks he comes up against. So he's not slow. I think Fornals is quicker than none of the fullbacks he comes up against, just for context there. Okay? But just being quicker than half of them ain't quick, and it ain't good enough. The real pace, the real outlet, the real thing that allows us to attack in the way we want to attack is Mikel Antonio's pace, movement, mobility, and aggression. And it's just not the things that Haller's got. I know his qualities. I know he's dominant in the air. He wins most of his headers. I think he comes deep to bring the ball and plays the target man, to link up, to do his stuff. We just don't play like that. And I'm sorry to say we don't. And Cresswell is so good at crossing, I just don't think it particularly matters if it's Haller in there or anyone else. He's been providing assist and or goal scoring opportunities, Cresswell, anyway. So I just can't see a happy ending for this. I don't know what the situation is with Mikel Antonio. We've got an international break now, and I guess we've got Sheffield United next, I believe it might be. If Antonio's back for that, maybe what Gio said is right. Maybe Moyes, being the cautious manager that he is, he'll just ease him in to that and he won't start him. So quite possibly Sebastian Haller, I would believe, has one more game. One more game to save his West Ham career in many respects, because he would have to be man of the match in that game. He'd have to score a couple of goals. He'd either have to look drastically different, or our team would have to look different. He's not going to operate. He's not going to score a load of goals with Bowen being as wide as he was holding his position against there, and Soufal on that side. The left side operates better, I've got to say, and but not the same as the right side. I think the left side operates better largely because Cresswell's there as well, and we don't have that. Although Balbuena would probably suggest differently after his contribution in the last moments of the Fulham game. I just can't see it happening. I do believe if we get to January and there's an offer on the table and there is an option to bring somebody else in. We keep saying Joshua King because, well, for the obvious reasons, his name is in the news and we had bid for him. I suspect if there's a possibility we get somebody him or like that, or somebody like him, then that's what we'll do. And we'll either do a loan thingy with Haller like we've done with Felipe Anderson, or the alternative is we take a massive loss And when I say a massive loss, I mean a massive one. We won't get the 45 million back. Gio said 30 million. I think we'd only get 30 million for Sebastian Haller in ratcheted payments if everything worked out. More likely someone offers us 20 million with 10 million add-ons. If that happens, we may just have to take it.